Uh, Hi everyone. Welcome to C programming. This is Professor Mahadevaya teaching you about C programming. Today we will take up one of the interesting program to check whether a given integer is palindrome or not. Uh, what we do is we write a common statement like that to find whether an integer is a palindrome or not. That's an important aspect of programming because we need to understand what this programming is doing here. Of course, this is Turbo C for your kind information. This is Turbo C environment, that is IDE, integrated development environment, and we are, I think, version number 2 is being used over here. I have included two header files. One is stdio.h, that is standard input output, and then other one is conio, that is nothing but console input output. So to facilitate the smooth execution of the program. And then, of course, all C programs do contain one of the most important function, void main. So without which any program cannot be called as a C program. So here is a closing brace and opening and closing brace. So we start to figure out how to start writing this. You know that I have to read an integer from the keyboard, so I need to store it somewhere in the memory because the memory and the processing, these are the two important aspects of any programming scenario. Then whether the other important aspect is what is the kind of container, that means to store the variable in the memory, what is the data type that you need to use, whether you are storing it as a character or storing it as an integer or a floating point number. So all that is very very important. What is the data structure to be correctly put it across to you? What is the data structure? Anyway, that's a different level of understanding. Let us try to understand that we need variables to store these variables. Normally it happens in the RAM part of the computer. So we know that we need a number. Always choose the name of the variable as very relevant to what you are trying to store, and it should be very simple. In DOS programs, normally the name of the variable should be as limited as possible without containing any spaces, and then it should not start with a number, etc., etc. So that is why I've given n for the number I'm going to store, or the integer I'm going to store. And then I need another container that's nothing but the variable of the same data type to keep it aside because that may get destroyed while processing. So that is why I may lose out that particular number. So that is why I need another variable called m. So you will understand why I am having an extra variable. And then, so if I enter say 123 is as the number, I need to reverse it. So how to reverse it? So that's an important aspect. We need to understand that we need another two variables to store the digit extracted. For example, if we take up a number 123 uh, and if we try to extract one by one, so that should be done through uh, unit place, and then move on to the 10th place, and then move on to the 100th place. So one by one we have to extract that. So when we extract so we have to write it in another location. So first we extract 3, and then we extract 2, and then we extract 1. So what is happening is once it is extracted, it has to move place by accommodating the second and third digit, and it should try to move towards the left, that is from unit to 10th place and 10th to 100th place, like that. So this can be achieved by two methods. One is extracting the digit is normally done by mod 10. So what happens, 1 2 3, so divided by 10. So when you divide this by 10, we know that uh, 10 into 12 is 120, so the remainder is 3. That means, so whenever you come across mod, so we will be focusing on mod always will return the remainder. But if it is a normal division, so then it is called as the quotient division. So it actually gives away the quotient part of the division. So these are the two important aspect of modulus as well as normal division, which is done by normally forward slash. So let us try to understand how to do it. Um, to remove what has been extracted, suppose if we remove 1 2 3 in terms of 1 2 3, if we remove 3 from 123, then we have to have only 12 in the next operation. So that is why an integer division. So it should be followed. First we have to do this kind of modulus division, and then the second step we have to do the integer division. So let me try to do it for you by writing the code related to that. That's an important thing. Um, we know that we need to give a relevant name, that is digit is the one which can hold the extracted digit, and then there is we need another variable where we store that extracted digit, so that we call it as reverse, and initially it should contain 0. Otherwise some garbage value will be troubling you in that. And once you do that, we have to uh, clear the screen, because that is nothing to do with the operations. Whatever the operation, that we should get notified on the screen. So that is why all the memory variables, we need not worry about that anyway. That is not going to be shown on the screen, output screen. And simply check by writing get ch, that's a function which waits for a particular key. Then try to compile. It is alt C and then build all for B, and see that it is success, so it is fine. So of course there is one warning, so nothing to worry about it. uh, and what we are going to do next, so we need to read the number or the integer from the keyboard. So for that we need a message which says that enter an integer. So we know how to write the printf statement. So enter an integer. So I put slash n so that the cursor jumps to next line, and then wait for it, wait for reading a character from the keyboard. So then how to read actually from whether it is a character or a number, whatever it is. So how to read anything from the keyboard? So scanf is the function. Of course, every statement should be terminated by a semicolon, and then because I have declared n as an integer, so I need to use percentage %d. So sometimes, if you want to read a bigger number, then probably you may declare it as a long integer, and then that should be read. It can be read through LD, that is uh, long integer. So that's how we can read. And where to put? So we need not worry. Simply put ampersand, which will take you where exactly it has been defined. So slash n. Now again compile. Okay, this, and keep pressing F2 so that this will uh, save you your work. So that's very important. You can actually save this. I've already stored the same name, so that's why it asks whether to overwrite it or not. Anyway, um, okay, let me test this by compiling and then also running this. You see it is working. Enter an integer, say 1 2 3, and hit enter. Okay, so it is still waiting. Probably it would have read, and then it is waiting another keystroke. Why? Because get ch is there. Press any key, it will come back. So that means it's working fine. So there is no problem if you compile often and often and test. So that's the way you have to build your program. And what is next? So we are able to read the number from the keyboard and store it in terms of n variable, so which is an integer variable. Let me safeguard it by assigning the same value to another container called m. So it's another integer variable, nothing else. Okay, so and then after storing that, now I can go into the process. What is that process? This is very very important aspect of it. uh, you have to keep extracting until it gets exhausted. So that means, so we do not know when it get exhausted, because I may enter two digit number, three digit number, or four, five, etc. So more than five, I think it is not advisable to enter, because the limit of the integer is that 65,536 37, up to that. On the negative side also it may go. Anyway, we are not interested to go beyond 5 digit. That is why I have declared it as integer. Otherwise I would have declared it as long integer. So uh, while something is true, do this. What is that? So if n is not equal to 0, so keep doing this. So what is that? You have to keep extracting. Say 1 to 3. I'm simply taking. It can be even 1 to 1. 1 to 1 is a palindrome. You know that a palindrome is is a number which can be read forward as well backward, and it remains same. So the value of it remains same. So that is the meaning. So that is why uh, you need to extract. So how to extract and where to store? So you have to use the digit variable to store that. How to extract? You know that modulus division will enable you to extract the remainder. So we are trying to extract the remainder. So n mod 10, so divided by 10. So if you divide anything by 10, so for example 123, so 10 12s are 120, and the remainder is 3. So that means exactly what we are expecting is going to happen. So that is why n mod 10, we are extracting and storing it into the digit variable. And then we don't want, but if you look at n, it is still having 123. But how to remove 3 from the actual number? So that can be done by a normal division. So that is forward slash 10, n forward slash 10, that is the division. So what it does give is it will focus on what is available in the quotient. Quotient is 12, and then 12 will be rewritten, overwriting the existing number 123. That means we have discarded the digit which has been extracted. That's all. Then what has been extracted, so should also be stored in another variable called reverse. So this reverse can be written with a digit. Okay. So this can be written like this, but you may wonder, what about if I extract another digit? Then it will be overwriting the existing. Then we will lose the number or digit what has been extracted. It will be overwritten by the next digit. So that is why we have to take care. So when we extract the digit first for the first time, there is no issue. But when it another number or another digit is extracted, we have to move this current digit to the 10th position. How do I do that? So what is existing is in the reverse. That is the another container where we are trying to store. How to move that into the 10th position? It is multiplied by 10 and then add this digit to that. Like that, suppose if there is 23, then how to move that to make room for another digit into the unit place? Again, if you multiply it by 10, what it does is other two digits are 23 will move, 2 will be moved to 100th position and 3 will be moved to 10th position, and unit place will be vacant, and this digit will get added to that. So that is the complete idea about this palindrome program. Everything is done within this while loop. So it keeps on executing until it reaches to the end of the digit. That means if there are no digit to be extracted, so it comes out of the loop. So just save this, and then what we need to do is we need to check after extracting. So we are supposed to check what is that. So for that, you know that if condition has to be used. What is that? Whatever we extract, which is stored in the reverse variable, is equal to the protected or the saved variable, that is m, because n will not have any variable because it contains 0. So that is why, so we have to save it on a separate location, memory location. If this is true, so then we can directly say that the percentage d, the number whatever that we have entered, so is a palindrome. Okay, so otherwise it is else. So you can say, you can copy and paste this, control k b, control k k at the end, and control k c to copy. So and control k h. Hope this is not a palindrome. Okay, so see that the space are removed. Anyway, it will not really affect anything, but you should be very careful. I think you say once and then recompile is okay. Let me test by running it, by linking to the library, and then run it. So enter an integer, so 123. So of course this is not a palindrome. Okay, it's correctly working. Let me see whether by entering one more value, that is 121. So hit enter. You can see that okay. So what is the problem? This is there is a problem. So this is how we have to debug. Okay, what has been done here? The printf is trying to print the number, and it has no reference to any memory location. So that is why what we need to do is we need to add the memory location, that is the variable, by putting comma after the double quotes. So here also we have to put in. So now this will solve the problem. This is how we have to, so that you should not panic in the examination or the test or wherever you are working. So you have to keep learning this kind of situations. Try to solve that. Again, once again, you have to build, because I made some changes, and then rerun. Now, yeah, if I enter 121, you see that okay, it is not m, so it is, sorry. Anyway, that is m. So if I keep making the errors, probably you would also be making the same error. You should understand, okay, it has been proved that n contains 0. So the previous execution showed you that n definitely contains, at the end of the while loop, it contains 0. So it has been proved. So nothing to lose. Everything has to be gained by this kind of experience. Now, if I save this and then compile once again and then run, uh, again, if I enter 121, you can see that it's a palindrome. We will test for another non-palindrome number, say 123, and definitely it says that not a palindrome. I hope everybody understood this kind of programming. I think it really helps you. So I quickly go through once again. You know that commenting is very important. I will quickly recap this and then include the header files as and when required, the type of the header files, a normal input output, standard input output, and the console input output are added normally, header files. This will give the program the definitions of the library function that are being used over here. Anyway, so how many variables we need, we have to figure out. So we need one variable to store the number, and then to safeguard we need another variable, and to extract the digit from the number we need another variable, and to store as a reversed number to check whether it is okay or not. So then we need another variable. Of course, it should be initialized with 0, and the clear screen will clear the clutter of the previous program output. So we use that clear screen function. This is another with respect to video, of course. Then we have to start interacting with the keyboard and the of course the console means the keyboard and the monitor. So this will display in the monitor that enter in integer. Without this printf function, if you try to use only scanf, of course it can be done without that. Then you will have no clue about what to enter, what the program is expecting, all such things. So that's why it's very important that every scanf function should be preceded by a printf function. And then we store the currently read number through keyboard into another variable to m, and then we start looping through. That means do the process repeatedly. Manually we can do, but computer we have to tell everything one by one. So that's why this particular is process is under while loop, because we do not know when it gets over. So keep extracting. Digit can be extracted by modulus division, and the integer division is done for getting the digit extracted digit out of the purview. And then of course the storing all the extracted digit into correct places, locations, and keep moving to the left, the higher places, like from unit to 10th, and 10th to 100th, and 100 to 1000, like that. So you can test a maximum number of digit that you can test in this program is 5 digit, because the integer has 5 digit limitation. And if you want to test beyond the 5 digit, then you have to declare the number as a long integer. Anyway, that is not really required. So, and then once you are done with the program, I mean the extracting and reversing the number, uh, you have to test it whether the reversed number is equal to the original number, because it should remain same. If the number becomes different, then it is not a palindrome. So that's what we are doing over here. I hope it's wonderful to learn this kind of programming. I think anyway, thank you for watching this video, and good luck.